Hello and welcome. So, this week, hang on, where's the bloody bike gone? Not to worry, don't panic. I know there hasn't been any videos for a couple of weeks. I've been super busy with work and that needed a lot of attention, so I haven't had any chance to get to the bike other than sort of pass it by and look at it. But what it has given me a chance to is have a good tidy up of my workshop, which was probably overdue. And I've got rid of some junk, and it's allowed me to move the bike inside. And with winter coming, that's going to be a lot warmer. So don't worry, it's still here. There she is. Bit of a change having it inside because it feels a lot bigger. You always get that when you look at bikes in a showroom, or the cars in the showroom and the bikes in the showroom seem massive, and then when they're outside, they're little baby bikes. So now it looks like it's in a house, but it's not, it's just my workshop. It looks really big now. It's like a BMW GS or something. But it's quieter and warmer in here, so, getting old, getting cold, winter's coming. But, it should be finished soon anyway, so we don't have to worry about that. And I forgot, I buy a lot of things in Lidl, all the tools. I forgot about 10 years ago I bought this. It's like wallpaper, you're supposed to put it in your house and pretend you're in a forest. So I stuck that to the windows to give it a bit of an outdoor feel. And it stopped me getting distracted by looking out the windows. Not that there's anything there, but I got a nice tidy workshop, and it's not all shoved up the back, messy, although I got to get some out to work with soon. So there we are. I've got a day for the bike. It's quiet. Hopefully no one's going to bother us. So we're going to look at this. And today, what I'm going to do is nothing exciting. No chopping, grinding, cutting, bending, ruining, bullet holes. Although I know we do say that a lot. I've got the service kit. We're going to be like a normal owner. I'm going to service it. I'm going to get the valve cover off, do the valves, check and inspect, new service items, oil change. And I know it may have come to your attention, I do drag things out a little. But today, I'm going to edit it so that I'm like really fast and dynamic and we'll see how that goes. But either way, let's service this fabulous bike. If you Google Meteor service manual, there's quite a few places it comes up. This is off a dodgy Russian site. Sorry, Royal Enfield. So there's a whole PDF of how to maintain the bike. And section 3 is periodic maintenance. I think what we're going to do is the 10,000 kilometre, because it has done 8,000 miles, which is about 10,000 kilometres, well, a bit more, or 12-month service, which is basically the same, although it is 24 months old, and the 20,000 kilometre service is basically the same as the 10,000 kilometre. So either way, we're going to do the 10,000 kilometre 12-month service, which is, as you'd expect, check and replace, replace engine oil, replace oil filter, inspect and adjust valve clearances, clean, check engine oil strainer, check spark plug, although we're going to replace it, which it does say in the 24-month one, to be fair. Inspect the HT leads, inspect the rubber hoses. We're doing a lot of inspecting. Replace the air filter, inspect the pipes, check the clutch adjustment. What else have we got? Inspect the brake pads. Well, we've gone well into the brakes. Don't worry about that. Lube lubricate side stand, check the brake hoses. Oh, it says replace the fork oil. I don't think I'm quite set up for that at the moment because I didn't buy any. Inspect the chain, clean and lubricate. Check the wheels. All the kind of things you should just sort of do anyway. So, those are the things we need to do to that. Obviously, because we've got quite a lot of it apart and we've got all this access, this might be a little easier than doing it out in the street or at home, especially because that fuel tank is just going to pop right off. So what should we start with? Let's do the valves. Right, fuel tank. If you haven't seen any of the previous episodes and you've just wandered into this episode, this is going to seem like some kind of weird alternate reality. So I do recommend you go back in time and look what you've done before. So this tank's been off about 100 times. Bolt at the back, fitting underneath, and a multi-plug. But I'm going to show you more about that now anyway. So you see mine has not got the fuel pump fitted, or the two rubber breather pipes that connect onto there. Mine are already disconnected, but you'll have to do that. And here is that lovely fuel pump. There's a quick release connector on there, although you can disconnect it at the other end, which I'll show you now. And there's a multi-plug. Don't take this out. I got this out because of historical reasons. That stays in the tank. When it comes to removing the petrol pipe, there's two similar but different ways. Now I know this causes a bit of trouble for some people, and it is a bit fiddly, especially if you've got big fingers. Now I'm just going to pull this one off the injector because it's easier to show you once I've got it off. Okay, so this is the tank one. This is on the fuel injector. They're similar but different, annoyingly. The one on the fuel pump tank, yes. It's a quick release fitting. And there's this little push button rectangle. And there's two of them. So you need to squeeze both, push inwards to help them release, and then pull it off. So squeeze both, and you see it retracts those two teeth. You may find it easier to remove the other side, which is on the fuel injector. It's not the same. This side, not that, has one button. So it's on the side that's facing you. So just one button, not two. But same thing. Push, squeeze hard, and withdraw. And that is the multi-plug that lived up on the tank. And that fuel pipe sort of sits in that cutout in the engine. So we've done this, but you need to do that. So remember, two different types. Don't force them and don't break them. Bad news. So, valve cover. Whether we need to remove the coil, I'm not sure. Let's just undo the bolts and have a look. Because if we don't have to take it off, we won't. Now I think I got the service kit to with the gasket. Remember that? I remember getting that out. So we've got 3 bolts. So I've been a good boy and read the manual, and it just says to undo the bolts and remove the cover. It doesn't say what else to remove. I'm guessing it leaves that up to your own common sense. Okay, so it's not moving easily. That's okay, could well be stuck on with sealant. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Or is that going to come out cleanly? See, the gasket's still quite well stuck down. Should I remove that side plate? I didn't say to. Okay, the manual doesn't explicitly say to remove this end plate, but I think it needs to come off. Because the gasket looks like it's trapped underneath it. Yeah, that gasket's underneath. So there we are. Read the manual, but also keep an open mind. Well, anyway, before I just go taking it off, I can see that I think the coil has to come off anyway. So let's loosen this. Always dropping. It's very tight. Right, I've got to put some tape on that because there's 3 pipes there. That's the one I just pulled off. That one. That one. So there's a little emissions canister under here. This is in the way now. That's attached to that bracket. And it's got a load of stuff connected to the top. Aha! There we go. So we pop that bracket, pop that pipe off, and hopefully this should go to the left. Yes. There we go. Well, it's well attached gasket. Those bolts had little seals in the top. That's what just dropped out there. Little rubber seals. They're in the top. Funny enough, this does feel, it's very brittle. So that's definitely good to change, even if the valves are fine. And there's a bit of gasket silicone just spread around there, look. So, brittle old one. Nice soft new one. Let's have a look inside there. There you go, there's a lovely engine. Exhaust valve, an adjuster, inlet valve, an adjuster, cam chain. Is it all nice and clean? Yes. Nice. Okay, now I haven't had to adjust valves since the days of owning a British Leyland motor product, which was quite some time ago now, thank God. Right, so the valve rockers arms, to be at their loosest for adjustment, the engine has to be at top dead centre on the compression stroke, which on these engines is in that hole, and there's only one hole, is at the top. Now I know what you're thinking, 4-stroke engine, it's going up and down twice per compression stroke, which is right of course, but the camshaft, this sprocket, is twice the size of the one in here. So the crankshaft goes twice, the camshaft goes once. And I'm saying that because if you're used to doing it on a car, you'd usually set top dead centre with the crankshaft, and often get the wrong one and totally mess up the valve adjustment. But because we're identifying top dead centre with the camshaft, not the crankshaft, it can only be right in one place, and so it shall be. Now, the right way to do this, I think you can see this coming, that it's not going to be the right way. Use a 14mm Allen key, remove this plug, stick a socket on the engine, and turn it till you've got top dead centre. However, I got a lot of tools. I haven't got a 14mm Allen drive. I got up to 12mm. And obviously, I just don't want to stop just to go and buy a 14mm Allen key. So the workaround to that would be put it in gear, 5th gear probably, to make it easy, and rotate the back wheel manually and use the chain to force the gearbox, to force the crank, to force the camshaft. Now, I haven't got a chain, but I have got the sprocket bolt. Well, there's a lock tab on it, but that's not so much that I can't get a grip and turn it quite well enough for the job we need. Now, usually you take the spark plug out to make this easier, but my 14mm spark plug spanner, I have a feeling, is in my van, which I haven't got. So we'll jump that step and keep the spark plug in, but I think we'll be okay. So I'll turn, I put it in 5th gear. I've got my socket on here. Now which way would that turn? That would turn this way. So there we go. So I'm forcing the gearbox to turn. Now that was the compression stroke. So you can tell because it just popped over and that hole jumped past it. And you can see the valves. So there's the exhaust actuating. If I bring it round again, you see there we are. The inlet valve actuating. The piston has popped round again. I know what's going to happen. It's so annoying I can't take the spark plug out. If you go slowly, let the compression leak out. So look at the inlet side first. If I do that, we can hear we've got clearance because it's not much. I've got myself a new set of feeler gauges. Now inlet is very small, 0.08 millimeters. I just went to the shop to pick these up and I had to show I was over 18 because apparently it counts as a deadly weapon in the UK. Just in case I come round and feel you to death. Okay, there's clearance there, but that's definitely too tight. Right. So there's a screwdriver slot on top and a lock nut. I'm just going to undo the lock nut. And the adjuster has come with it. Let's put the 0.08 underneath. So obviously that's loose. That's very loose. So we're just going to very gently very gently nipped it up. But when we tighten the lock nut, that should pull it back a bit because it's the act of the lock nut will lift the adjuster. Let's try a little. Oh, nice. Nice. That's good. I think I've gone a little bit loose there. Yeah, it's gone a little bit loose. This often takes a few tries if you're out of practice. That's better. It's a bit tighter. Excellent. Let's call that good. I'll give it another little nip. And just check that again. Great. No play. Good. Let's call that good. Round to the exhaust. Okay, 0.18 millimeters from this side. It's nice there's lots of room to work on these bikes. Except for this bloody camera, of course. I think I'm a little loose still. Oh, I don't know. Oh no, that's good. Let's give it another proper tighten. Yeah, that's good, because even if I try and lift the rocker arm, it's still dragging. I wasn't adjusting it then, I was just tightening the lock nuts. If I lifted the rocker arm and it suddenly went loose, that would imply that there was more play there. Still at top dead center. So there we are. Valve adjustment done. That wasn't so bad, was it? So exhaust was loose, wasn't it? And inlet was tight. Not terribly so, but not in spec. So all sorted. I'm just going to clean this up. If I show you the top, there's those top oil seals. But that Hitchcock service kit comes with 3 new ones. So, lovely jubbly. There was that sticker on top I pulled off, so I'm just going to have to get this adhesive off. It's just an excuse to spray this amazing smelling brake cleaner, really. Lovely. And there's the gasket. Mounting surface. Nice and clean. There's an engaging tooth on there. That's the spark plug cut out. Oops. come off. No, that's the left. So that has to go there. Yes. That's quite a tight fit in that groove. I have seen some videos where people have had their bikes back and they've got oil leaks from the top end because the garage has tried to save a bit of labour and not done this properly. Probably by pulling the head off, the head cover, and not removing the gasket. And then they go to put it back in and that gasket is sitting like that, except they can't really see, you can't see. So taking it off and pushing it in is definitely the safest way to avoid that. It's a lovely designed multi-tooth gasket. So really you've got one sealing surface, two sealing surfaces, three sealing surfaces, 3 in 1. And we've got a front and a back lip and internal sealing surfaces. Let's get it on. Check I've not left anything undone, literally. Here it comes. So I want to be careful. I don't want to catch that rubber on anything that's sticking up under here, because it would just love to pop it off. We'd never know. In fact, even now, I just want to do it again to check that I didn't knock it off. No, we're all right. Right, let's do it properly. No messing around now. I'm still paranoid. Now, people are divided on whether to reseal this other gasket, but I think it's a really good seal. And I'm not going to replicate that. I'm just going to let it sit on the original seal and not try and fill it up with gasket sealant. So that's moving slightly because it doesn't sit on studs. But it feels like it's seated nicely. Let's get those oil seals. Okay, probably what is a first for the channel, we're going to do this properly. I've got a Diddy motorcycle torque wrench. I need 12 Newton meters on here, but this is measured in centimeters kilogram force. And apparently 12 Newton meters is 122 centimeter kilogram force, which if you think about it, does work out because the 12 moves a decimal place, and newtons are related to kilograms but not, so it's 122 centimeter kilogram force. To be honest, I just put it in Google because that's just easier than making a mess of it. Take the slack out of this, and I'm looking to feel that click. Okay, it's getting quite tight now. I'd really like to feel that click. Oh, there it is. So I'd broken the bolt then. To be fair, that happened almost exactly at the point where if I was doing it manually, I'd really want to stop. Okay, we're getting to the point where I'd probably want to stop if I didn't have a torque wrench. Yeah, that's where I'd want to stop. Oh, it wants to go further. There we go. Okay, so the manual wants me to tighten them about half a turn more than if I was just guessing. Although that one was pretty much where I'd want to. So that's really nice to know that those 3 bolts are absolutely consistently done up with this little torque wrench. So that gasket is being pulled down uniformly well, I hope. Lovely. They really want the end sealed in, don't they? Right, let's put all that gubbins back in before we forget where it goes. That went pretty well, all in all. Clearances were pretty much right, but now they're perfect. Well, I think they are. Okay, so where are we at? Haven't done the engine oil yet, or the filters. Done the valves. Done the spark plug. Air filter housing isn't even back in yet, so we'll ignore that. Although that's coming soon. So, oil and filters. Right. So that's how we drain most of the oil. I think I'll wait for some to come out before I take that plate off. Not too impressed with the colour of that, to be honest. It'd be really nice if there was a convenient drain bolt rather than wait for this. That's a lovely oil. A bit confused by that red colour. Have any of your Meteors got sort of red oil in? Perhaps that's just the way it is. Alright, while I'm waiting for that ugly thing to drain under there, the oil filter proper is under here. Now this is probably going to run out, isn't it? Let's pop a towel there. Yeah, there it is. Just a little bit of oil come out, not too much. There's a spare O-ring in the kit. I'm guessing it's for there. Yeah, nice little oil filter. And a little bit of leakage. That's okay. So there's a replacement filter, Royal Enfield branded, same part numbers, brilliant. That rubber seal. This oil obviously comes in through the filter and drains back out through that hole. And a new O-ring, which I'm guessing is that one. Looks like, doesn't it? It's got little teeth that appear to sort of hold it in place. That spring tension is pushing the cover out. If I can get a torque measurement for those. Torque measurement is the same as for the head bolts, 12 Newton meters. Though to be fair, it does say 10 to 12. So from underneath this bike, that's the plate underneath with another O-ring that's held in with these two bolts. And underneath here, now all the oil is out, it's the oil strainer. Just sort of like a wire oil filter to catch any more debris. And is there any more debris? No. You may see metal filings and similar, but that's absolutely clean. Nothing in there at all, which is nice because no one wants to see the oil strainer and see it full of metal. Awesome. Bit messy, but awesome. So I'll just give that a wipe. And I'll strain it. Needs to go back in with my other hand. Wrong way up, that's why. Here we go. But this nice castor oil comes with a filler. I wonder if this is red. Ah, yes. So that's why it's red. It says 1.7 litres, and this is 1 litre, so it's going to have all of this. Did I put the drain plug in? Yes. Done that before. So down there, that's nearly up to the full mark. That's 1.5, 1.68. Okay, that's 1.7 litres has gone in. That's right to the full mark. I think that's good. Okay, so I've managed to blunder my way through those initial service items, and I will say there are a lot better videos than what I've been showing you on YouTube. Stuart Fillingham has got a very good service guide for the Classic 350 and Meteor, and does a few things that I probably should have done. Mostly, I should have bathed that filter in oil, but I was so excited to get it in. So, we'll be alright, I think. But that would be a much better thing to do. But like I say, even the Royal Enfield official videos, much better and more methodical than watching me blunder through it. So do have a look at those. Although, just to add to my small grains to the mountain of knowledge, I will say that it was surprising using my motorcycle torque wrench. One of these little Diddy torque wrenches. Little 1/8 inch connector on the end. How tight these head bolts had to be. All the videos I've seen, they say, oh, you know, do it up tight, not too tight. But the torque wrench, the setting was quite a bit beyond what I thought was tight. So if you're having any problems with leakage from the bike, maybe the head cover just isn't tight enough. And especially with these, ow, just poke the brake lever in my eye then. This cap cover with the O-ring in kind of relies on these being tightened equally so as not to distort this cover and get the possibility of a leak. So again, the torque wrench on these 3 bolts and the plate underneath. You know you're pulling this plate down equally and not so much that you can distort it and get leaks where the bolts aren't. So that's my only little thing to say, to add to all those wonderful videos out there. I know they said to inspect the HT lead, and funny enough, it is quite a brittle and tough lead. It doesn't feel very flexible. It feels like it could easily crack open in a couple of years, possibly, with sunlight shining on it, although mine seems fine at the moment. And I think I've got everything back correctly. that's the main items done. Valves, oil, filter, strainer, and that spark plug. Obviously I can't do the air filter because there's not even anything there to put it in. But what I think I'll move on to now is that rear brake caliper. Got new pads for it. And if you remember the horror of the front, I wonder what we're going to find. So we'll have a look.